Hi everyone, and welcome to Eventful Conversations. My name is Jessica de Quesada, and this is my event partner and best friend, Monica Pardo.
Holy shit,
And we decided to finally launch our podcast to be able to give back to the events industry the love and connection and knowledge that we experienced ourselves. It's just gonna force us to connect with so many individuals in the events industry, and
we're gonna talk about the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, and it's just gonna be fun.
Oh, it's like 10 o'clock in the
We're
morning.
ready.
Welcome to our second episode of Eventful Conversations. My name is Jessica de Quesada, and this is my event partner.
Oh, you're gonna let me talk this time and introduce myself.
Talk quickly, you have a couple seconds.
This is Monica Pardo from Monica Pardo Events. Welcome. And today we have to make it clear that they're not our favorites, but
we are we their favorites?
We started together, and well, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
You want to go first? We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Hey!
I'm Christina Manso with Design Plan Play and The Extraordinary.
I'm Laila with One Inspired Party.
We come to you in true after party fashion in our
PJs,
because we wanted to make sure that everybody understands the concept. You know, after a party, we debrief.
After the party comes the after party.
And we definitely talk about the good, the bad, what went right, what went wrong, and we do it with you guys. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you guys for having us. This is fun. We're excited.
Super excited. And for Lindsay and Maria for doing their magic work on us. Oh, and the beautiful Decora. Arieta, thank you so much.
So we're going to start today with one of the trends that has been circling on Instagram, which we probably didn't even do ourselves because we didn't have time. But we wanted to go into that trend and talk about things that we like to do after our events. So it was a trend that was going around that everybody was tagging us on getting to know your wedding vendors. It was actually for weddings. It was asking us questions like, what shoes do you wear to an event?
Right. Or what's a must-have? Like, what can't you live without during an event?
Yeah, that was actually a good one.
What did you answer for those?
So I answered for weddings, but I'd like to answer for regular events because it's what I do.
Yeah, let's do regular events. Okay.
So shoes, sneakers, because we obviously move at 1,000,000 miles per hour. Not as fabulous as the one Monica wears, but they're still cute enough, I feel. What about you?
Same. Flats, sneakers, whatever we can get around in quicker. For sure.
What about you, Jess?
I don't have a preference. I'm not big on shoes. Yeah, if I need to wear heels, I'll wear heels, and then I'll just switch to sneakers if I get tired. I'm not big on shoes. I know she is, though.
I am. That's like my thing, obviously, and I match.
Tell them how you started it, Monica, before it was actually even a trend. How the sneaker game came.
What it started
sneakers
was,
and dresses.
yeah, like you would have to wear these ball gowns, right? Because it was a black tie affair. I never did the black suit. I'm the event planner. No, like I was kind of part of the event, you know, like if I was a guest, but I would kind of be thematic about it. So if it was about like tropical,
basically,
I was a little tropical.
It was on the invoice. There was another line item where like she's also part of your event.
Yeah, you're buying my dress and shoes. But I do pick an actual shoe for every event.
There was another question that was, what is your go-to food after an event?
Oh, why all of a sudden, this is the question for Christina. I'm going to be honest.
Because Jessica doesn't eat anymore.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm just so tired that I don't eat. No, not me. I actually, at that point when, like, you know, everything just comes back down to, like, where you got to be.
To zero.
Yeah.
You're off of this. And all of a sudden, it's like, my appetite's like, what are we eating?
Yo, you haven't fed me all day.
So honestly, I don't think that I go for it, but it's almost like whatever's in my path. No, really, I don't know. No, whatever's
Whatever
there.
she passes first. So
like
she's driving.
McDonald's.
No, not even. Or when I get home,
open.
really, like you just.
Home?
No, not on the way home.
You don't stop. You don't stop.
don't
at a
stop?
McDonald's?
At that point, I'm still again. It's like when you get home and then you're there, and then all of a sudden, I have to also like I soak, I bathe. Like I don't care if I'm tired. I need to. Yes.
What?
You guys. I put
Oh,
my
no, me
like.
too.
Oh,
tea.
yeah, I did too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Epsom
sucia,
salt.
what do you mean? You're
You
gonna
go
go to bed.
to sleep right
That's
after
gross.
the event, no te bañas.
We were
can't.
talking
So-
about
so after that, though, that's why you think you're so tired, but that's when I
No,
go
but then you know
and I
that you
start
could-
picking because
No,
at
you
that
don't
point,
understand.
or
I
I'll
don't-
start going to like the
I
pictures.
don't feel my body like
Yeah,
after an
us
event.
either,
There's
but-
days.
Nobody
No,
does.
But
You
that's
sleep
what
better. I feel like you
No.
sleep better.
you don't
when-
shower after an event, Jessica. 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 I'm in
Let's get
heels. I
showered.
don't sweat and I don't shower.
Yeah.
I don't feel pain
And I don't
or
sleep with
hunger.
my husband either on that time. Let's be real
I don't
now.
feel anything, so I
okay?
just go to sleep. I don't smell.
well,
I
We were
bathe.
talking about the food
Okay.
situation. Go.
All right, back to the food. Okay, back to the food.
Okay, so I really don't eat after events, late nights. Obviously, after kids' parties, my housekeeper always has a meal for me at home.
To be honest,
The
because
truth.
I'm a comalona,
The truth.
I don't eat not one thing at an event. No, because I'm on this high, right? Like, oh my
You're
God,
just
what a great
going.
party. And then you get home, and then I'm like, coño, I should have packed the cake.
And don't-
the
No, or don't you get the
like, I'm
vendors
like,
that you're there since they know it's your event and your party? They're like, and mind you, I've been here for 22 hours at this point.
I haven't eaten
They just walked in
anything.
and goes, do you think it's okay if in a little bit I grab something to eat? And you kind of just look at her and like, well, I mean, like I haven't eaten, and we're like, it's go time. You can eat in 4 hours right now, but like really, that's why I don't
true.
think during an event you don't eat.
I
You
don't.
just-
I
Some
but
people
you
are
know,
like,
you know what I do? Like old Cuban lady style, I
Galletita
take,
con queso crema?
no, I take flowers home.
Sorry.
I'm still in this high, 4 a.m. I'm like, oh, what a beautiful party. And I'll start cutting and put
She's walking
flowers
out
in
with
the
the centro mesa.
bathroom and putting in the lid. I do. That's like psycho. But that's
Guys, do you bring anything?
clearly
home
I
from the
eat,
event?
but
No, but I do stop at Taco Bell.
It's Taco Bell for you.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what it does.
cinnamon twist with nacho cheese.
together?
Together?
Dip.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And she doesn't shower.
She goes to
after
sleep
that.
with the cinnamon under her nails and a little nacho on her teeth because she ain't bathing or brushing her teeth.
Oh, I'm gonna drink to that. Okay, next. Cheers. Cheers to that. To the ones
Whatever
that bathe.
works. So the ones
You,
that
you
bathe.
don't get to cheers with us. Okay, let's go. Next.
No, I don't have a drink. What happened to my cup?
Se lo diste a alguien, Jess.
Yeah.
What do
In
you
your
mean?
generosity, since
You
you
could
don't
bring
eat
that
or
one
drink
over.
now.
Yeah. It's sturdy.
It's okay.
But I think that one.
Remember, she's kind of into that. She's kind of into that. It's her thing. What makes you you? My natural
What's
oil.
that?
And dirty cups. Dirty cups.
Okay.
Stop doing that.
I know,
They
but I
told you
need to
not
also
do
not
that.
be sweaty.
Yeah, we can do a timeout because it's
Yeah,
let's
remember, this
time
gets
out for
edited,
the
you guys.
shake. Let's shake it up.
Okay, where's my drink for real? though?
¿Con quién te estás acostando hoy?
I can give 3.
I can give 22.
We only went through one question.
Hit me with your
It's
best
good, right?
shot.
It's
Egg
good,
bites are bomb.
I
Dude,
could
cuando
give-
tú estás flaca,
I
no
could
te
give-
importa nada. Let fucking think on my bed
I
without
can. It's
showering.
disgusting.
Yo no soy la más limpia.
Deep bad. Ow.
Yo
Jessica.
duermo tranquilita.
All right, let's go.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
Born ready. Vamos.
I think somebody should talk about how we came together as a group of planners that actually compete against each other, because in reality, we kind of all do the same thing. And our clients at times have even jumped around or call us. It's very interesting how such a diverse group of women are so tight and we help each other so much, yet we all do exactly the same thing.
So I'll tell the little behind the scenes story. Was Jessica was the director of Live Like Bella at the time. And, you know, she had put it out that she wanted industry friends or vendors to come together and who was available. And so she called us all upon, and we literally were each other's competition. We do kid parties, we do weddings.
So what we did was I took the room and we broke it up into sections and we created teams. So it was Laila
And Monica.
and
Yeah.
Monica, which had never met,
No?
No, we had
completely different styles.
Yep.
Then it was Jackie O and Valerie, I want to say.
also very different styles.
Yeah. And then it was Christina and somebody else. I think even Lily from
Creative
Creative
Heart
Heart?
Studios.
Creative Heart
Hi, Lily.
Studios.
Lily, we love
Oh, we
you.
need Lily on.
Oh, look. Me and Lily were on the same team. I remember now.
Yes.
Oh,
You see?
welcome back.
Yes.
And we're back.
And we're back. Was it Chicago?
No, Jackie O. I want to say Jackie O
Was
was
Chicago.
Chicago and
We were Aladdin.
each had two
We
themes.
had the Lion King
Safari,
and
Lion King and Aladdin. Somebody
They might have been the best ones too.
It was Chicago, and I don't remember whatever it was.
But it's what brought us together.
Yeah,
It was
for the
exactly.
yeah.
It was a collaborative effort to decorate all the tables for the gala.
Right.
And it was divided up into sections. So basically, you have these super talented women coming together to decorate an event for kids fighting pediatric cancer. And that's how we met. And Johanna,
The
which
godmother.
I reached out to her through Instagram, and she helped us. She helped everybody.
That at the time
Do you
that's
know-
when you met Johanna. That's when you guys.
Yeah,
That's
that's-
how we met Johanna.
That's how we all kind of met Well, at
Yes.
least I hadn't met Johanna, but from that event, I remember the ducks installation, and I was like, oh my God, who's this woman? And then after, I was like, hey, I'm just started out as well, and my kid goes to Gulliver, and I'm the room mom. And I have
remember.
this big ass board to decorate. And if we do it like out of this world, imagine how much traffic, all the Gulliver moms. So we would, and she pulled up in the black van. Do you remember the black
The black
van?
van was
Yeah,
the
her and
mystery
Frank
van.
pulled up, and we, it was Johanna style. And that's how we met. But
It's so cool to go back to the
From-
original stories,
yeah.
right? It feels
It
like it
is.
was
So
like a
that's
lifetime ago.
technically how we met. But even after meeting, I actually knew Jackie from before, from the wedding days.
Right.
Like I had
okay,
connected.
you guys have been in it since.
Right. Jackie was an original wedding planner like me
Correct.
from before Live Like Bella. With that said, I think it's super interesting that even though we kind of all do the same thing, we're all still different.
Absolutely.
We can still collaborate and work together because obviously, that's something that is so important to us to be able to project, onto the community, to be able to explain, this isn't about competition. On the contrary,
Right.
This is about collaborating with other people, other planners in the industry.
No,
and I
that's-
think that that's what I would love to hear from you guys, if you see it the same way that we see it.
But we did do like a group of,
You're not allowed to talk
I've
right
been
now, Monica.
shunned.
Monica,
You saw that little
when
touch?
you-
Like it
when you
wasn't
guys-
like,
It couldn't
no,
it was
like,
like
not you.
a knee squeeze or un
Yeah,
tapaboca,
yeah.
so she
Not
wasn't-
you. It's their turn.
I was
Okay.
asking Christina and Laila, Monica. No, but on all seriousness, it's crazy how from that moment, let's say you've never looked back, that you almost need like the community over the competition, like we always say. We need each other more than we need to compete with each other,
100.
I think, like you said, we all bring we all have our own, what makes us different, And I think that that's also what attracts the client to you. And again, I feel like you need to have this community more. And then what's cooler is that we actually all really do get along and we
Yeah.
do love to be with each other
Yeah.
and sit here in silk PJs together. Because this is what we look like after events.
We
I put
do.
on
Just like
feathers
this.
as soon as I get home.
So
By the way,
Both
I wanna add to that. I also think that the community that we've built is so special in a way. Yes, we're competitors, but I feel like more than that, we're a family. And now, Christina, tomorrow I have an event and I need this, or like, hey, can one of you guys bail me out? This is what's happening.
Yeah.
And the collective experience.
Well, I
of all
don't
of us.
even have to ask. Like, I don't have a choice. She just shows up at my events, even if she's not invited.
we're going to Puerto Rico for Faruqa. I'm there. Like,
No,
we're-
and one time I called Laila, or she called out of and I was in the middle of like a 911 random, like at Hot Wheels. But it's a buyout and it's a thing.
when the guy doesn't show up to open the door.
And she calls me, she's like, hey, ask me, I'm like, listen, I'll call you back because honestly right now, like imagine the people are standing outside, this place is locked. I promise you.
She was there.
No. Tell me, her and her team, that Lester, is that Laila? And she's like, what can I do? I'm like, I don't know. Can you break down the door? And like, does anybody here know how to be a DJ?
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't even think, you react. And in those moments is that you know who's who. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And from even our chat that we have, that's like
Yeah.
the night in 2 seconds, we
2
can put out a
seconds.
fire, which
Yeah.
is, again,
A
that's,
beautiful
you need
thing.
that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's enough for everybody. And again, the beauty of it for me is that it's not a forced, like we actually all love to
Yeah.
whether we're all super busy, whenever we do have 2 seconds to get together or like a quick chat, it's
We
always
do
a
it.
good time. It's a
Yeah,
party,
Always.
Yeah. And there's a lot of other, it's not about just us. Like there's a lot of other
Correct.
planners that
Absolutely.
we feel the same way about, like when I think about debriefing after a party, sometimes we don't always work with them in particular. Like I have very fond memories of sitting after an event and being completely exhausted and sitting with somebody like Ali from Cabell Events and truly going through the motions of the event from start to finish. And that to me is so special because, you know, it's other planners that, again, we do the same thing.
They understand.
But we've learned to be able to work with
Absolutely.
other planners because we need them and they need us and we work well together.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So that's a beautiful thing that at this point in our life we can learn, because how many times have you hired me? How many times, like, we literally hire each other,
absolutely,
you know, to help each other out at events, and that's priceless, I feel,
Absolutely.
you know? And we're all different, you know, we all have different styles, which I think is great. You know, maybe you can explain how you
You're
feel.
allowed to
Can
talk
I
now.
talk?
Monica.
Yeah,
you can
Monica,
talk.
Now
and
I
make it fast because
but
your mic
hit-
is full.
hit- hit
Look,
my knee.
Ahorita, she
touch
pulls your
my
mic.
knee to. Okay, now you're on.
So what do you think, Monica?
Okay,
I think you're right, Jessica. What she said.
whatever
I
she
agree.
says. Whatever. She's the Sunday.
Go.
I'm just a cherry.
Cherry here.
The fuck like cherries, you know. Some
You
don't
always
even
throw the
like
cherry off.
cherries. You know, who wants the foundation and the Sunday?
Go!
Okay, yeah, no, it's true. But like, we have so much respect for everybody in our
100%,
industry,
yeah.
and we might not be as close because of whatever, but like I know I could call any of them and
Absolutely.
they would help. And actually I did. She had done something in Casa de Campo recently. I'm doing something next year there, and she
We
gave
all
me
need each
all the
other.
information. It's just a really beautiful sisterhood, and you'll be on the show too. Is that
Not
okay?
all of you.
Is that-
Some of you. Not all of you, but some of you that'll make it on here.
Christina,
Best of luck.
who are you
They're gonna
referring
edit
to?
this.
Were you referring to?
No, we're
Christina.
not.
No?
Christina.
that part we're gonna edit this.
Christina, what are you talking about?
That tequila's kicking.
No.
I'm just
I
kidding.
was gonna tell Monica to explain what she feels is different, you know, between your style and my style. And I think that has so much value as to why we can collaborate so well.
Yeah, I mean,
And I think that this is a question for
Jessica's gonna ask the question. She's gonna also answer it for Monica.
I have an idea. Why don't like look? I can say what I admire about Christina's style, and Christina can talk about yours. and
Okay.
we can go in
But
a circle.
I was gonna say that this would have been the perfect question for Johanna.
It would.
It would
like
have.
what's different
So
about
going
each
live
one?
now with Johanna
Hey,
in the
Joe,
middle of
where are you?
Tuscany.
It would have been the perfect question for her.
Yeah.
But since she's not here, we're gonna have to answer it. So
It's
go.
my turn.
Okay, so let's say a random client comes and says, I need a planner, and this is their theme or this is their personality. Who would she refer me to? Like, if anybody was professional athlete or the theme was athletics, that's who she would send me to.
Johanna would refer you.
Yeah. I
The
feel
athlete.
if it was a foundation or a charity, she would send it
Everybody has their jam.
to, you know?
Or even looks, right? Like, let's say somebody, it's like they tell you like, this is what we're looking for, this is what we, and there's certain we all have it's a part of our branding, our look, what it is that we specialize in, your
Yeah.
niche. So the same thing, like you would say, oh my God, this would actually be something that's totally up Laila's alley, you know?
Right.
But if it's a good enough budget and I'm gonna make enough money, it's mine. Hey Laila, what would you do in this scenario? No, I'm just
Hey, Laila, can you give me your opinion, but don't take the client. Like my
Listen,
client.
I mean, I can do that too, Laila, you know, but what do you think? What would you do? No, but really, we all have our what makes us tick, whether it's,
Yeah.
and again, it's not just our style. I think it's also personality. It's like any relationship. Like you know, your personality goes better with certain type of people. And so
Completely.
yeah, I think that there's those out, and we, like you said, we've had it amongst ourselves where we do get clients that have worked with me and then have worked with Laila and have worked with you guys. And it's also okay too. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because whatever,
Oh, yeah.
it's not personal. Like that event made more sense for me to do it with Monica, with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus,
Oh,
and
But
it-
what's
So-
really cool is how we give each other the heads up, like, hey, I'm not going to take
Yeah,
this
if
client
you think that we don't call each other, we do.
unless you're cool with it.
Correct.
And then they'll be like, Laila, and vice versa. And I would be like, okay, she's great, but there is X, Y, and Z.
correct. Listen, you take her. I'll
yeah.
gift wrap her and I'll give her to you as a gift.
No, and it's not only that. So I feel like personality is a big part of the process, right? And there's just fits that are not right, and maybe a client doesn't jive with me the way that they would jive with Mo or with Christina or with Jessica, and that's totally fine. So when those type of things happen, I think what we do is call each other and be like, hey, just so you know, these are the pain points from this client, because we want each other to succeed. So it's not like, oh my God, this bitch just took my client. It's more like, how can I help you set your relationship with that person as success?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing.
And there's enough for everybody. I think I mean, it's good to be hungry and it's good to, but the reality of it is, like they say, like that song, lo que está pa ti, nadie te lo quita. If it's for you,
100%.
but it is. It's not just to say it and to just be like this super,
No, it's
you know,
true.
love is love and everybody can coexist. But at the root of it, if it's meant for you and it's like, that's how I feel, and it's just always been the case.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Or if you're booked and then you pass it along to another. Okay, what's next on your agenda?
What do you want to talk about next, Jessica?
No, I think that we should go into exactly what we were talking about before, you know.
I don't know because I'm not allowed to think. You're
I'm
supposed
just
to
a
tap
chitty,
me.
Jessica.
And then let me see your toes. You have really cute toes over there. Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
What is going on?
Just in case you fail as a planner, you can always self-feed.
I hear that.
Oh my God, what are you
Guys,
doing,
guys,
Christina?
I've got a future plan.
Yo.
So what was the pivotal
Christina,
moment in
the-
your life? Camera one. on my
Not the
toes.
phone, not the phone.
Not the phone.
Not
when
the,
I turned
not the
my
fetish.
50. Fetish?
Do you have funny stories about that?
Is this fetish?
Go.
And the name?
No,
Wait,
no.
I would like to talk about that.
Wait, because I'm plugging my other company now. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Monica.
Yeah, actually,
Like a
let's
foot
do it.
fetish?
Yeah.
Well, now that
Yeah.
you bring that up.
Do people say that? Like, has anyone ever
It's
been
very
like,
funny with fetish. Very brief. My background is also what I studied was interior design and architecture. Even design plan play is very strong in design and like thinking and building. Like that's just my thought process because of my background, right? So I always had this concept, but there was never time to develop all these thoughts that go on in your mind, you know? COVID hits, you know, give me a week at home bored where I'm like gonna eat the drywall. My busiest year to date was 2020, which is insane. It became like the look for every drive-by
Literally
parade.
every
and
drive-by
Monica,
had
and
that.
another example. So funny story is why fetish, right? It was like an idea that was born and all of a sudden I had to like work backwards. Like now I need to brand this or establish this or call it something because you weren't going to just, again, in as much as we're friends, there's also that level of respect where you're like, you're not going to tag design plan play with your clients. So Fet is party and ish to a certain extent. Again, it was a COVID thought, you know, maybe it's
she's
not the best
queen
company
of
name.
play on words.
So,
Little
but fetish,
fetish,
so
but fetish.
no, and also like your fetish, like my fetish is like, you know, to celebrate or whatever. Anyways, that's the name. But what's funny about the name is people are weird to say the word fetish. So when somebody calls me, they'll be like, hi, is this fetish? I'm like, fetish? They're like, it's just weird for me to talk about a communion backdrop and fetish in the same sentence. So
Wait, but I never asked you, like, when people, like, does it come out on your credit card statement?
So
fetish?
I've had clients call me and say, my husband's asking me, like, what are you spending your money on? What is this fetish? And again, it was a new product. Like, how many times did we not stand in a drive-by, like, you know, correcting the process and like holding the backdrop so that it wouldn't blow over? But everybody really like just believed in it and invested in it. So again, I'm like super grateful. And
let's just call it for what it is. But if you couldn't brand foam, like, you
kind of
made
like-
what parties are today, all those packages that you see from every single company was because of Christina. Like, Christina made this foam, and the best part was I would tell her, but that's strong and like it doesn't fly over and I could put a cake on it. And she's like, hold on, FaceTime me. She FaceTime me. She's like, whoop.
How to make
and she
foam
literally
wood
just hopped on this little table, and I was
all
like,
of this
oh,
would
that shit-
hop on a little table.
I'm
This
like,
is
that's
very
strong. That's strong as
That
shit.
shit's strong as shit.
The cake is good, you know.
And we will
But-
also say we did have a couple cakes in the beginning that did.
I didn't
She
know
was,
that.
yeah.
None of mine.
I had to perfect it. I was gonna do a removable top, but again, we've come a long way
Yeah,
from
we've
there.
come a long
No,
way.
it's been amazing.
Listen, I remember the first one that you did for me was Easter for both of my girls. And I did the balloons because at that point in time, everything was literally closed. And I remember looking at that and being like, this is so cool.
It's such a
and
simple
so
idea, but it
easy,
wasn't.
like a 4-foot backdrop, which is really perfect for small celebrations. It was a brilliant idea.
That
Well,
still
I
costs you $600.
It's gonna set you back, but it's gonna look pretty.
$695 to be precise.
And if you want balloons, there's another one.
You want an add-on?
There's people that have that talent, you know, to
Yeah, but look at even catering and color as an example. Like catering, like what I say sometimes from an idea, because again, I didn't invent a backdrop, I didn't invent a table. It's almost just now it's just built differently. Like you said, it's crazy that now how many people have adapted the same concepts and we can all be successful. Fetish does amazing. And so does everybody else who's kind of taken on the same concept, you know? But like catering, there's a million people that do catering, but you gave it a twist. And until today, it's still something where it's, again, and it's everything. It's the name of the catering, how you did it. We also know how we work and what our clients need.
Well, yeah, because obviously, you know, like we had spoken about initially, I felt that, you know, I realized after X amount of years doing this that I wanted to specialize in events that were primarily entertainment related, nonprofit related, and corporate. And most of my friends did kids events. At the end of the day, what all three of you do are high-end kids events. But I didn't want to compete with that. I'd rather stay in my lane.
Back end and
right.
like,
So I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, if I can give them something that they need, I know what they're looking for. And that's something that we spoke about in the last episode. If we had a piece of advice to give new planners, it would be that. It would be come up with something that isn't what everybody's doing.
Or like when they kind of say even stay in your lane, but it's almost like make your own lane. Like how exactly, like even with fetish, you can add to what you do, or like, hey, you have your style, but everything can, you know what I mean? But you can fit in without, it's not yours, it's your event.
Right, you're not competing because at the end of the day, I'm giving you a service that you're still going to hire anyways, that, you know, you guys still need, and I'm not competing in that sense, you know?
Doesn't it happen to you guys too? Like with different events or specific things come up and then you're like, oh, you know, it would be such a great, because with going through things is when you realize there's like a hole in the market for this, or it would be so cool if somebody did this.
I thought about wrapping coffins branded, customized with I like it was a business idea that I had. I'm like, oh my god, how cool would it be that when you know
and that's when I had to be like, okay, that's enough.
But somebody does it.
I know, but it was a lot. Like it was so, it was dramatic.
And it's funny that you say that because a lot of things sound, you know, sad or morbid or whatever. But there's a moment for everything, and I've almost done like events that I never thought, like celebrations of life, and like
I've done
so
having beautiful ones.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm saying is that idea that I had, I remember calling the trademark attorney to ask him if that was a thing that where I could trademark being able to vinyl wrap a coffin. And the other day on Instagram, I literally sent the reel to my sister. I'm like, oh my God, somebody's doing what I thought about. Like,
I get that all the time.
10 years ago.
Where like you had an idea to somebody and then guess what? Somebody did it.
Like, and I do a parenthesis, by the way, because I want to give one piece of advice to this all new planners, and it's don't kill our market. Like, I know that everybody's like so eager to get the work, and I think that we could all agree that in the beginning, like it was so exciting when the phone used to ring and you get an inquiry and it looked good. But the reality is that if you want to scale as a business, you need to price yourself right from the beginning and know what your talent and your expertise is worth. Now, I'm not saying that a new planner can charge the same way that we're able to charge, because we've been in the industry forever and there is something to be said about the experience that we have. But some of them are doing it for so little or nothing, and it's just killing the entire market.
It's a disservice even to themselves. So I think that is a solid piece of advice.
Yeah.
And to their clients.
Because it'll always be that client that you are like, okay, you know, and that client will end up being a nightmare, and everything in that party would be a nightmare. But I think that's a really good, valid point. You're great at that, and you're the one that set the standard. And then we all had to pick it up and be like, you're right. No, I can't do a party for this because no. You even got life coached with it, you know, and I think that you started that for the rest of us. So thank you. And,
I think that I 100% agree that she definitely has a wonderful way to structure her pricing. And that's something that I used to have very long and lengthy conversations with Johanna about how I used to price my services and how I used to structure my business.
Right.
And everybody has a way of doing it that works for them. And this is something that at the beginning, when the concept of an event planner was born, and we've had this conversation before, people didn't know or value the concept of having an event planner.
Put that price structure in a box is what I think it is, and that's what makes it tricky for people. But I think the people who do understand it and do know how to work with a planner and do know what a planner brings to the table, the benefit.
Specific client.
Correct, but that's your client. Right. So that is your client. We're not for everybody.
Right. No,
and it's
100%.
Okay.
I also feel like half of the people will be like, oh my God, how much? Like you charge what? And then you finish the event
Right?
Yeah, but
Finish
what
the
happens
event
when
and
you
they're
finish
like,
the event?
You don't charge enough. Like you don't charge enough.
That's
Right?
like-
I don't. I feel
Some
like
of
I
us
don't
need
charge
to see
enough
the
because
process.
there's like a
Yeah.
lot of there's a lot that goes into putting a well-curated event together. Not every event is the same, but when we're talking about, the luxury events that we're mostly known for doing, it takes a village of vendors and coordination.
No, your team, your
and,
A
Yeah.
team.
And it's not like, like she's done it so much that it's easy.
I just think it's brain power at the end of the day at this point. Like there's just something in your brain
Or
that,
is that-
that
I
has
think
a
that's
value.
the experience, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't, and again, you have to walk the walk before you.
It comes
It just
easy.
is what it is. Like you
Right.
can't buy experience. You
And it's
can't
not that
fast
my
forward
brain
that.
works better than
No, no,
yours
no.
or another planet.
You know what it is?
It's just I've been there, I've
We've
done
been
that.
through it.
I know what it takes to get you from point A to point.
So that can bring us to another good point, which is what would say, let's say, oh my God, this event was like a total nightmare because, and then you learn from that, right?
100%.
And then that's why and I think that's what, besides our creativity and our flair that we bring, it's that experience that we
Yeah.
can, because there's so many moving parts in an event that for it to be a beautiful tango, then flawless, it's for it to be seamless, you need to have that experience, and on top of that, the people around you that can,
They can execute.
Well, I was
100%.
that's what I was gonna say. It's like I think the experience of having vendors that are literally family and that you just call upon and be like, I need this done.
you almost
So-
don't even need to speak. Like
yeah,
they just,
they
They already know how you work.
This past weekend, I had this amazing 25th wedding anniversary, but it was a surprise to the bride. And I had hired a stylist. That's probably my favorite thing to do that. But I was like, I can't go into showrooms. That's not what I do. So I would literally have to buy her dress. But what if somebody else went to Neiman Marcus and bought that same dress? So I hired a stylist, and she has a death in the family, and she can't come to the thing. So now how am I going to dress this lady? And it's not like just dressing someone to go to a gala. No, this is like her 25th
For
anniversary. And I just remember calling Vivian Dome when I'm like, I need your help ASAP. I called Sebastian from Satori Amici and Jennifer from Neiman Marcus. And when this woman walks out of her room, it's like Cinderella. Like it's like Pretty Woman with
made
like
it happen. Yeah.
everything you could imagine.
Right, but
But I could have never done
be
that.
able to pick up the phone
Yeah.
and call Sebastian and call Vivian Del Olmo and
Yeah.
call the other one
on
and be like,
consignment,
hey,
not even like I'm gonna pay you. No, like if she buys a dress, I'll pay you. You know, it's
right.
just-
But for you to be able to do that, it takes
And then you already in the
experience.
relationships you have with these
Right.
people, and they know what you bring and what you've brought, and
Right.
it's that respect for one
like
another.
there's
you know?
people that you can call in this industry at this point in your life, and they'll show up and they'll come through for you
sure.
because they know that you're
Yeah.
solid.
No,
You know what
that
I mean?
and the fact that we have people's cell phones at this point in time. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're calling on a landline that's
No,
not going to
no.
be picked up on a
Right.
Sunday
no
at 3 p.m. because the place is closed. Like we know who to call. We know how to get a hold of people so that we're able to
Absolutely.
solve whatever is thrown our way. And that is the value of experience.
100%. Yeah, for sure.
And then if I don't know how to do it, I can call Christina. I'm like, hey, have you ever been in a situation? Like,
Yeah.
I need help. Yes, call here,
And
call
again,
here.
this is where our pool is awesome because
Mhm.
if whatever the amount of years I haven't been, one of us has been through it.
Correct.
So you're like, listen, do this. I got this. Call this. And then we're making the calls for each other. Like we said it the other day when we're like 911, and it's funny because our 911s might be different. No, it's not a
It's really-
stroke or a heart attack, but it's like
It's pretty.
the
911.
drapery ain't draping.
the
So
linens don't reach
Yeah.
the floor.
and then so when you're late to the text, you're like, I love that there was an emergency. It's about fabric and it's already been solved. You know?
Yeah. 'cause-
So,
yeah, when you
You
get
didn't die.
late to the chat, you're like, oh, yeah,
yeah,
resolvieron.
resolvieron. That is the key
But
word.
it's a chat that
Resol-
I will pay attention to. Like if it's another chat, I'll be like, oh, I'll look at it later, you know. But if
Yeah.
it's that chat, like, oh, it's
like
an emergency.
fourth grade
uh,
girl moms chat.
Yeah.
It's on silent. That's
not
why
gonna
Demi
lie.
didn't bring a snack. No, just kidding.
No.
Okay, so I think we're gonna go into
No, I'm laughing because I just volunteered to do mom football snacks, and then the lady's like, she's like, you have to make 75, and you have to individualize the grapes and the apples. I'm like, I gotta cut apples, and
I got this.
75.
So we're gonna finish with, we did this last time and we're gonna do it again because I think it's so awesome to know what your hit moment in your career has been and what your peak moment has been in your career. So there has to be the worst moment where you completely wished you never chose to
Without
do this.
saying who the client
Yeah,
is.
you don't have to
without-
say
but
it,
that's the good
I
part,
know-
you guys.
I mean, I have a few, but
No, one
I'm gonna
worst
say the-
and one best.
okay, so my worst, we weren't able to pull up the tent. It was, a disaster from the beginning. And then all of a sudden the client comes up, we're running behind because of, all the issues. And she walks in and she says, I hate everything. Wait a second, like, do you hate everything or do you hate one thing? Because I can't fix everything, but I can fix one thing. And I remember keeping my composure until the event was over. And then she loved everything. By the way, the event went viral. And it's to date one of my most liked events. And after she apologized, everything was messy. And this is a person that was very organized. It was our first time working together. But I remember when those words came out of that lady's mouth. And I'm thinking, how do I fix? Like, how do
Everything.
everything? Like,
Yeah.
it's not one thing. And we expected, right, by now, like somebody doesn't like one thing. You're like, okay, well, I can fix that, but everything, that was
And I
a
think that's
pretty-
another big point of what we do is also like if you want to do this for a living, I think majoring in psychology would be also a really good business
Big
choice
time.
because it's also how you handle not just your client, the 22 vendors, the people that are big. You almost have to be that sounding board where you're just like, it's good. Hey, you got this.
But that's
'cause
a learned technique.
that's a learned technique, but it's people. It's funny because let's say like my mom, she would love to the fact that I'm mentioning her, but like she'll
I
see,
love you. She's my biggest fan.
she'll see you at an event and she'll tell me because sometimes she's like you're crazy that you do this. Es una matazón, you know. But then she'll see you in action because she comes by to bring something or what have you, and she's like, it's incredible how you're and it's so nasty, like how you can handle people. So part of what saved, I'm sure, that day for Laila, like the worst, is that you have to kind of reel it in and be like, I got this, trust the process. And like you said, it's an event that went viral. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I know
It was
too.
epic. But I remember it was even an issue with
it
the color
was
of the eyebrow
beautiful.
on the unicorn cake.
It
Like it
was
was down
so
to like they were
beautiful. It
nitpicking
was-
and it was
yeah.
stunning.
Yeah.
So it's knowing how to keep it
So
together.
what was your best?
So this summer, I was taken to Europe for a client, and I feel like it's one of the heights of my career. Ever since I started, I thought like, hey, I want to do an event out of the
That
Florida
was epic.
area, and that happened. And then when, we did overseas and it was in Europe, 2 different cities, it was complex. To me, that was just
That was
a
epic.
really
How
cool
cool.
moment.
Was it a 15 or a,
No, it was a 40th birthday.
During the Olympics.
took
in
friends?
Paris.
like it was a group of friends that they like went partying?
Correct.
That's
it was
awesome.
It was pretty epic.
Very
I
cool.
want to be like Lala one day.
Wait, but what about like that client that sticks around and you like 30 minutes in our industry is like 5 hours, and then they'll be like, is that going to be fixed and that going to be fixed? And it's like,
No, an event where like the clock is like on zero. It's like, can the clock go this fast at the gym? That 1 hour spinning class, can it be like when you have an hour to set up an event? I'd be look, yes or no? You know when you're like, you get to event, they're like, oh, but there's an hour left. I'm like, it's not a spinning hour, it's an event hour. Yes or no?
completely.
Dude, I wish if the
Yeah.
gym clock moved that fast. But
We wouldn't look like Jessica.
No, we don't look like Jessica.
Dale, go.
What do I, my pit?
Yes, your pit and your peak.
Bueno, definitely, I think working in Miami, there's so many like rain pits, like rain out, which again brings me back to if you don't have like these ninjas that can just come in and save the day. So again, there's a certain one, there's not just one, there's a few. The first one is the one that you'll never forget, obviously. A beautiful wedding, outdoor. The bride had, and she knows who she is, and even if she sees this, she'll laugh.
I was there.
Yeah, you also came to save the day at some point, I'm sure. Early in the career, right? Because now you know.
Yeah, right.
Estoy vacunada. It'll never happen again. Put it in the contract.
Put it on the contract.
I meditated. Oh, because there's like a 20% chance of rain, but it's one of these.
The
and
knife
again,
in the ground, did you do that?
rosaries hanging on
Listen,
trees.
We did everything.
Every
Trust and
candle's
believe
lit. Like it's
Colombian,
not.
Cuban.
It's not gonna rain. The lady of the venue was a private home, but she rents this. I've been doing this for so many years. When this app shows this percentage, it's not gonna rain. Vaya con Dios. Okay, we got this beautiful day. Padre Alberto says his last words. They're married. The Cuban trio is about to, and I'll never forget. Actually, the Cuban goes, "Ahora viene la lluvia," because I guess he felt the rain. When I tell you there
Who
wasn't
said that?
the Cuban
The
trio
Cuban
guy,
trio,
he
that-
probably smelled the rain because Cubans have that sixth sense. So the point of the story is it didn't rain.
It
The sky
poured.
fell.
It was
The
bad.
DJ wasn't covered. Vintage rentals that you're just looking around. The cake is like, the paella is sopa. because it was different stations. And I remember thinking, and everyone's, their dresses, people in like couture. And again, this house didn't even have an overhang. And this lady has shut the house, like you can't come, because you only rent but at least be a human. These are like doctors, and it looked like they park people against like the sliding glass door to let them in. People leaving insulted. And there you are, dressed in black with your clipboard. And you're like, you're the planner that didn't put it. And you want to put a sign that says, my bride said she meditated and she knew it wasn't going to rain and we didn't need tents.
You see, that's why you had to put the ball down. I had
sent her the clear tent rentals. They were giving me like a deal like for, no, it's not going to rain. Yeah. Listen, I've never cried so much, but again, like everything else.
Well, did she get mad? Was she mad?
No.
She was cool?
She's like, she tells me, I didn't even know how to make eye contact with her at a certain point. But I remember when she was like, I'm going to live for the rest of my life with your voice in my ear saying, we should tent. But anyway, so that. And then there's been a million rain stories from there. But that wedding actually did go on. Cuban Ninja came.
Party.
Hester, un 20 por 20 over the dance floor. Like, I need to at least, the DJ had a blue tarp.
Wow.
And again, it was a beautiful wedding. Like, obviously turned a little ghetto, but it's Miami. We made it work, and it was a jam.
And they did.
And I said after that party, which was maybe that wedding, it was like 8 years ago. Like, I'll never do an event again. That's my favorite line. By the way.
My God!
If anybody knows Tina, what are the problems?
This is my last event.
Every day
This
I
is
tell
it,
her,
guys.
I'll take your clients. Just send them my way.
But then I'm like, okay,
it's
just
fine.
one more bite. JTT.
Okay, but you're a peak.
My peak.
Go. Your best moment.
Keeping in with the fact that I'm just pretty much done after every event. No, I'm just kidding. What is my peak? Guy, this is terrible, and this is not gonna get it because
really amazing things for
Are
me.
your daughters any of
like
those
that
parties?
means
No.
I just don't like what I do. No, I'm just kidding. I can't have so many really amazing.
So many great
it's too many really.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Europe,
But
Nobody's
you've been to
taking
New
me.
York.
That's
My New York
really
clients, but look, my New York
Your
clients, my
flamingo.
amazing
Your
mitzvah
New
clients,
York
my one first birthday. Can we have
What
flamingos?
was the
and
one
we have
that you did in the flamingo
The flamingo
one?
the flamingos
And the
are
one that you
epic,
did
or the
that-
circus giraffes, and
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. How do you pick one? You know,
it's hard.
So I really, there's a lot of really, my favorite, I think, and there's a few, for me, is when people kind of like give us that crazy creative freedom.
Yeah.
Which obviously comes with a nice budget.
Price,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
The no budget.
the no budgets, which again, it's like,
everybody
okay.
has a budget.
But sometimes you can get a no budget, and it's also like these things that will pop up on Instagram, like from Brazil. Not that I'm like Brazilians, and you're like, "Que magu-" like it's just too much.
Yeah.
Whereas you can do something super tasteful, but like super cool. And so, anyways, I went off on a tangent, so I don't know which is my peak. Is that I've had a lot of cool ones. I love everything. Everything I do is a peak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. What about you, Jess?
Yeah.
She already talked.
We were going to talk about it.
Listen to her podcast, Christina.
Well,
As an
yeah.
nerd.
My peak. Well, we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
My peak was.
You're peaking right now, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Totally.
Jessica is in her peak moment of life, so.
So I think it's my galas. I think
it.
we spoke about obviously the entertainment.
Her thighs.
Her thighs, this new look she's rocking.
The thighs are.
That even,
All the ostrich feathers
Yeah.
that she's wearing.
I'll let you know when I'm
Oh,
peaking, guys.
But we're inspired and we're all going to go.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay,
Oh.
but wait, I'm gonna say one more thing, which
Say
is
it,
like,
girl.
at every point in time, I always have debriefings with my team, obviously, and sometimes when events go either really well or really bad with the clients, because we can all learn from that. And every time I set a goal, like my first goal was planning outside Florida, met that one. Then my next goal was planning outside the United States, met that one. So now I have to set a new goal.
Where are you
And
going
so-
to?
Outer space.
I mean,
Outer
apparently,
space,
I don't
right?
know. Now we set a goal for a specific country, I guess. But I think that as long as we keep learning and keep community over competition in the foreground of everything we do, and we lead by making sure that people are happy, because this is why we do what we do. Like, when people ask me, like, what is it that you like most about event planning? And I'm like, it's seeing people's reactions when they get to that space and those hours that they spend together and the memories we've
It's worth
made.
it.
It is.
And I have a client that wrote to me on my birthday actually thanking me for all the memories that, that we put together as a team for their family. And to me, that is priceless, and that's where it
100%.
comes. So
Yeah.
as long as people remember that it's temporary, right? Like, nobody's gonna die because the cake is lavender and not like pink. Like, I understand it's upsetting, you're spending money, but we need to be able to like move through the mishaps and understand why it is that we're there. And ultimately, we're there to celebrate, whether it's a wedding or a
Learn to dance in the
birthday.
rain.
Correct. Like we have
It's
to take the good
creating
with the
magical
bad.
moments with purpose at the
Right.
end of the day. As long as we remember that what we do has a purpose, and we're doing, that's why we do what we do. That's
Or
why
like
we,
what Laila's saying, it's not an organ. Like, let's remember
Right.
what we're doing is a celebration, so let's just have fun,
Always,
you know?
Yeah,
figure it out.
100%.
And
We
there's
have
always
fun.
a solution. Like we always figure it
That's
out.
right.
We'll
We'll
figure
figure
it
it
out.
out. I
We'll
think-
throw flowers.
I
or
think that at the end of
something.
the day, that's
That's
such
true.
a beautiful way to summarize exactly what we do and debrief it. And as long as we keep that in mind, it just reminds us
No, and at
why
the end
we
that we
put
need each
ourselves-
other
Yeah.
at the end of the day with
and
what we
maybe
do.
that call out to like the new planners, like we're here.
Yeah.
We would be willing to help you and willing to lend that hand, and you can DM us. You know,
Yeah,
like,
it's
how
so
we
it's so
started.
much more about,
I mean,
You learn
collaboration.
from and even then, even a new planet, it's a new energy. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
again, I think at the end of the day, and it's hard when you're first starting, is to know that there is, I think, and I truly wholeheartedly believe it, there's enough for everybody. And what's for you? Don't make me say it again in Spanish. Just shake my chest. Lo que está para ti, nadie te lo quita. But really, the truth is, it's just that, you know. And like you said, all of a sudden, 6 months down the road, like, dude, look at her, she's killing it. And then you might need that person. You need people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all good.
That and that we continue to refine our craft, right? Because every day we're learning.
You have
and
to in
every
this
day you
industry
learn
pivot.
something new.
Oh, yeah.
You have to read
And
ever
we
changing.
can't, right? Like if I were to plan today, like I planned 10 years ago when my business started, I would be bankrupt. Like you need
Yeah.
to make sure that you're keeping up with the trends and, clients' needs and the
No,
demure.
Well, I-
Very classic,
I-
very
I-
ladylike, very
So
demure.
I'm not. I promise. I think that
like this.
we we are gonna wrap it up because we could literally talk for
No.
hours. We really
Okay.
could.
We could.
We could.
We really could.
But there's
But we have
school
to.
pickups and
Yeah, we have to answer clients, and
fabulous
they're-
things.
Yeah, they're gonna fire us. Thank you.
Fetish.
We always have a place in the podcast if I get fired for talking here.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I'll
I
be your
think,
cocktail girl.
yeah, we will
Housewives, move on over.
we will definitely have
real
other
party
topics.
We
planners.
didn't like scrap, like you know how they're like,
No.
well,
Let me
you
tell you
know, let me show you this text that you wrote me. You know,
The real party planners of
bitch,
Miami.
You know. Let me show you this text that you wrote me.
Not no more, but I still love you.
I hate everything.
I could give 3 tips.
I think that it's priceless to have your collaborative efforts in the industry. And like I said, they're not the only ones, but they're definitely very special to us. But there's
And thank
other
you guys
planners.
for having us for real.
Yes,
we feel
this
honored.
was
There's-
so
And we also
fun.
like to think that we are the favorites. So
You
we're just going to
are,
go with that. No, I'm just kidding.
But there are other ones too that we have to
We do.
definitely invite.
And we'll definitely have
Okay, but
everybody
call us
on.
second. We come back.
Yes,
I'll
of
serve the
course.
drinks for that
Oh.
one, okay? Well, thank you guys for having us. For real.
And,
this was
um,
fun.
love you.
This was
Thank
very
you.
fun.
And we love you guys, and
And we
thank
love
you.
that you're doing this, by the way.
This
Yeah.
is
Why
amazing.
didn't I think of this? No, this is awesome.
Because you
you guys.
thought of the real
No,
money
man.
making.
This is besides it's like
spending
the
money.
industry needed it, and you guys are like an energy, the two of you.
Yeah,
Always
we're-
have been.
we're
day
gonna
one.
keep trying to do this.
Do it.
It's amazing. Do it. Don't try.
Who's
Just
next? Or we could talk about like what do people want to see? Like what do you?
Oh, we
wanna
were gonna
hear?
ask you guys.
Oh.
We were gonna ask you guys that. What do you think we should talk about next?
But there's so many
That's
things.
a lot. You just
No.
I
Let's
mean,
think.
is
What
it
do we want to
supposed
talk
be
about next?
educational or fun? I want to know.
I think
Is
both.
it like
I
a
think
mix?
it should be like people love drama. People love like what's bad or how much things cost. But I
Oh,
think
that's
it could
a
be
good
both.
one. I think that money talks is like a really important
That's
thing.
a slippery slope.
Well,
I think.
just
Yeah.
drop it in our comments.
So just like, subscribe, share, hit below, and all the things.
Make sure you double tap.
$9.99, and also coming to a theater near you is
Hey.
OnlyFans, Christina's Toes. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Okay, at this point they're like they're not
Okay,
even gonna
yeah.
use any of this. They're like, okay, ya los pies, los.
¿Qué están hablando? ¿Qué dicen? No entiendo.
No entiendo, ya she's fanning herself again. No oigo.
Okay, yeah.
Bueno,
Bye.
good wrap. It's a wrap.
¿Me dejan decirle algo?
Claro.
Sé súper.
Sí. Ah.
4 locas encantadoras.